Okay, and I'm gonna mute you guys all out. Okay, so we are ready to get started. So I'm so thankful that you guys could join us tonight. And we are a group of people that are a part of an organization that we call ourselves the Healthy Living Revolution. And we are seeking to take healthy back in simple ways, in doable ways, and in the midst of community, because it's always more fun to do things together. And so tonight I'm going to share a little bit about kind of where we find ourselves, a little bit of education, and then just a real simple solution that I am so grateful for, the simplicity of the solution in helping tackle some of the issues that we're gonna discuss tonight. So we're gonna get started here. And so it takes just a second to click over. And it always feels like more than a second. Hello. Let's see. Hold on. Share. Okay. From beginning, start slideshow. Resume slideshow. There we go. All right, so there are two startling trends in our world right now. And the first one is that our environmental toxins are increasing. And so whether it is what you are, the air that you're breathing or the water that you're drinking or the chemicals that are in the things that we're putting on our skin, maybe it's laundry detergent, and maybe it's just electromagnetic frequencies, which that's like Wi-Fi and electricity, all of that. We just are living in such a time. Nobody else has lived with this many toxins coming at us on a daily basis. This is definitely not our grandparents' world. It is not even our parents' world. We really are kind of just in a whole new world as far as environmental toxins. And at the same time, unfortunately, our food quality is decreasing. So this gentleman's in the middle of the store. He looks a little perplexed, and he probably should, because the middle of the store is notorious for carrying not really food, but food-like products. And we have replaced so many of our whole foods with food-like products. And food-like products are going to have some of the things that are listed here on the side: preservatives, flavor enhancers, pesticides, trans fat, GMO. Living here in St. Louis, we have Monsanto right here, who is really kind of the maker of those genetically modified foods. And unfortunately, they don't carry a lot of weight, and they really kind of move us into net negative instead of net positive, which is what our food is supposed to be doing. So a couple of things when you're in that store, just some tips that you can take on as your own, is shop the perimeter of the store if you can. Avoid the center aisles, because the perimeter of your store is going to have those whole foods there. And then secondly, look for labels, ingredient labels that have 5 or less ingredients, all of which you can pronounce. So they're not probably going to have multiple syllables. They're going to say, something that you can pronounce and that you understand. Preferably it's one, it's carrots or it's spinach. That's probably the best food that we can be buying. And I know that was a real shift for me, because it used to be I just paid attention to calories and fat, and I didn't really look at ingredient list. But really, not all calories are created equal. So when we can focus on the ingredients and not worry so much about the macronutrients, we are definitely doing our body a better service. So moving on to kind of where we're at today, David Katz is the head of prevention at Yale University, and just a brilliant doctor who's been talking about nutrition as medicine, food as medicine, for a long, long time, said this: this may be the first generation of children to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. And I'm sure if you look around at children today, you're going to notice that they don't all look so healthy. We've got people with the children at the age of 12 with the beginning stages of hardening of their arteries. 1 in 3 children is obese. They're developing diabetes. That is a brand new thing. And juvenile diabetes used to be rare. Unfortunately, now 1 in 3 children are developing diabetes. More than 25% of our children are taking prescription drugs. And as young as 8 years old, you can be prescribed a statin. So we are just living in such a way that we are aging quickly. And that is not okay. I mean, as a parent myself, that is a scary thing. And I know I want to do better by my own children. I want my children to have as much quality of life as I have, if not better. And living in, this developed country, that is what it should be. And yet we are just way low on all markers as far as our quality of life and our health. And unfortunately, Dr. Sears, who is known as America's pediatrician, shares much of the same for adults. And I would say you probably know somebody who falls into one of these categories. 1 in 3 people are living with cardiovascular disease. 1 in 3 women will have cancer. 1 in 2 of men will have cancer, diabetes, obesity, chronic pain, right? Out of all of the new diseases that have been diagnosed, I believe that top 36 diseases are all autoimmune. That's a brand new category that we're dealing with. But the train turns here in that 75% of all chronic disease is preventable. And that's why we're here, because we do not have to be victim to any disease. We really can be proactive. And every day we're taking a step one way or the other. You know, we can't be stagnant. Our bodies are not stagnant. They're either moving more towards disease or more towards health. And we definitely can be in control of that part of our lives. So, education piece here, oxidative stress. I've seen that term thrown around a whole lot and really didn't understand exactly what it was, but it is linked to poor health. So that's point number 1. And your best defense against oxidative stress is antioxidants. Okay. So oxidative stress linked to poor health. What exactly is it? Well, just by living, we have oxidative stress on our bodies. Good things cause oxidative stress and not so good things. So some not so good things that are going to cause oxidative stress in your life, or more of it, is going to be smoking, drinking heavily, you know, working with chemicals every day. These kind of things are going to be more stressful on a body. But you know what? There's good things that cause oxidative stress too. And those would be exercise. We all think exercise is great, and it is. But if we're not fueling our body well, then that makes for stress on our body and actually can do harm as well. Another thing that causes a lot of oxidative stress is pregnancy. So pregnancy has so many upsides, but it is hard on a woman's body. And so the thing that we can do there to help offset that oxidative stress is supply our body with antioxidants. And you can see with the great example is the apple. And I know when I was younger, my mom would make a fruit salad, and if we were taking it anywhere, it was going to sit out for any length of time. She would always say, put some lemon juice on it. In fact, I made apple crisp last night, and the recipe called for lemon juice, and it stops the browning of the apple. Never knew why, but the reason is that lemon juice is an antioxidant. It stops the aging of the apple when the apple is exposed to oxygen. The same is true in our body. Antioxidants stop aging. This woman on the outside has signs of oxidative stress. You can see it in age spots and wrinkles. Same thing is going on the inside of our body. Our body is aging. Our cells are aging. And it's fruits and vegetables and berries is where we're going to find our antioxidants. So that's the good news. We know where they come from. The not so good news is that our produce today, our fruits and berries and veggies, are not packing as much of a nutritional punch. And there's a couple reasons for that. I'm going to talk to you about 2 tonight. The first one is soil depletion. And I don't have a lot of time to go into that, but the statistics are staggering and a little bit alarming that in less than 60 years, it is very possible that we will not be able to grow anything on our soil. That is the rate that we are depleting our soil. And unless we take a step back and slow down, that's going to be our reality. So that's the first reason that our plants are not as, our vegetables are not as nutritious. And the second reason is that they are not vine ripened. So around 90% of the nutrition of each vegetable, fruit, or berry is going into that fruit at the end when it's ripened on the vine. And I never understood that. I thought, well, I know I'm buying green bananas, or I see that rock hard peach or that rock hard avocado, right? But I'll just take it home and I will ripen it on my counter, and that will be just as good, right? Maybe inconvenient, but just as good. But it's not just as good, because even if you ripen it on your counter, it's never going to have the same nutritional value that it would have if it had been allowed to ripen in its own time. So we're picking them way early. And if you consider that a vegetable is like the baby of the plant, similar to a baby, inside a mother's womb. When that baby is delivered prematurely, that baby does not fare as well. It isn't as developed. It needs special care and special help. We know that a full-term baby is generally going to have higher levels and higher performance than a baby that is picked too early, if you will. Same with our food. And so we need 7 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. That's gone up. And part of that is because of these two things. They're less nutritious, so we need more of them. And what I've heard is that's going to be continuing to go up. This slide really says it all to me, really just in a clear picture. The National Institute of Health did a study where they took freeze-dried spinach that they had from 1953 and compared the iron content to spinach in 1997. That was 20 years ago, and over 20 years ago, and found that you needed 53 bowls of spinach in 1997 to equal the iron content in one bowl of spinach in 1953. So I think here explains the problems that Dr. Katz and Dr. Sears were touching on. Hello, like we're trying to eat well, but we just don't have what we used to have. And our government actually saw this as well and thought they were going to go ahead and help us with the multivitamin. They were going to find the 12 to 15 essential vitamins and minerals, and we would start taking those and we would get healthier. But that was in the late 50s and early 60s, and you saw the stats in almost 2020. We haven't gotten any healthier. So vitamins are not the answer. And here is why. Because while there are 15 or so known, maybe around 30 known vitamins and minerals, the phytonutrients in whole food, and that includes vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and enzymes and phytonutrients, those are amazing amount. In one apple alone, if you would start counting these, there are over 20,000 different phytonutrients in one apple. So when we pick out 12 to 15, there's just no way that we have everything our body needs. Our body was not made to run on vitamins. It was made to run on whole food. And everything also, something to note, is everything works synergistically. So when we take lycopene out of a tomato, lycopene was known, and everybody was excited about it because it was discovered to help fight prostate cancer in men. So people were thinking they would encapsulate lycopene, but when they went to study it and put it in the petri dish against the cancer by itself, lycopene didn't do anything. But when men took in tomatoes, both raw and cooked, they did have the protective properties of the lycopene. So it all needs to work together and not in isolation. Another example is vitamin C. People will, do a lot of vitamin C, isolated synthetic. But 1,500 milligrams of vitamin C out of a powder or a capsule is equal to the 4 milligrams that are found in an apple. Because in an apple, it works better in your body. So those are just a couple examples of the difference between a multivitamin and whole food. So we know that more matters. We know it's whole food that really matters. We need 7 to 13 servings per day. And that's if you're healthy. If you are sick, fighting disease, pregnant, or exercising, it should be closer to 20 servings per day. And I don't know about you, but thinking about preparing those vegetables, buying them, eating them, that's a little bit overwhelming. And so this is our one simple change and one simple solution that I am so grateful that my family found a few years ago. This is Juice Plus. And just looking at this wide array that I am getting into my body every single day is incredible. It just lights up the eye with all the color. And so I want to tell you real quickly a little backstory about Juice Plus. It was founded over 25 years ago by Dr. Smokey Santillo, who was a doctor who was helping cancer patients to get better by juicing. His own father was diagnosed with lymphoma, was given 3 weeks to live. Dr. Santillo was on like a tour and couldn't get home quick enough. By the time he got home, he had been pumped full of chemo, his spleen had been taken out, and they said, we can't do anything more for him. He literally carried him out of the hospital. He weighed 130 pounds. He was 6'4". He was emaciated. He couldn't even eat. He was knocking on death's door. He took him to Arizona to his office. He started slowly trying to get food into him. He couldn't eat, so he started doing just juices, and even that was too much. So Dr. Santillo wasn't seeing the results he wanted, so he decided to do an even more powerful, potent juice. So he took the pits and the peels and the seeds and the rinds, and note this, that was 25 years ago, before anybody knew how much potency was in those. There are studies coming out left and right about the seeds. I just saw a study a couple weeks ago about the seeds in lemon and the peel of the lemon. That is all in Juice Plus. Well, he started giving that to his father after he dehydrated it. He put all of that juice on cookie sheets around his office, blew fans on it, and dehydrated it until he literally had just these powders, these plant powders in his palm of his hand, and he started putting them on his dad's tongue. And this man started getting better. And he got better. He got so better that he built a house for Smokey Santillo and lived another 6 years with an amazing quality of life. And so Dr. Santillo took that and introduced that to Jay Martin, who just thought it was an amazing idea, and Juice Plus was born. So I want to tell you what makes it different. There are 3 things that make Juice Plus unique. Okay, there is nothing else out there on the market, and I love being able to say that because there isn't. The first thing is that it is whole food, okay? It's not the vitamin that you saw on the left of your screen. It actually is the whole food. And something that's going to set it apart, if you can see, is that when I turn this around, this has a nutrition label. If you are listening and you have supplements in your cupboard, you should go get a bottle after this and turn it around, because it won't say nutrition. It will say supplement. Even if it lists itself as like a whole food vitamin, it will say supplement, because somewhere along the line, it isn't food anymore. It's not classified as food. We are just dehydrated fruits, vegetables, and berries in a capsule with nothing else, just food. We're regulated by the FDA because of that. We have all those phytonutrients in it. We're non-GMO, dairy-free, and gluten-free. Second thing that sets us apart, we are NSF certified. That's the National Safety Foundation. Less than 1% of companies in the supplement arena have this sort of certification. Juice Plus has had it for over 20 years. And what that says to you is that everything that we say is in here is, and nothing that you would not want in it is in it, right? And so that includes pesticides and fungicides and toxins and mold, you name it. That the NSF is just your guarantee that it's not in there. People will ask if we're organic. We're actually beyond organic, because I'm a part of a local food movement where I connect local people to local farms, and none of my farmers are organic. And that's actually a good thing, because organic means that you can still spray over 200 things on your produce just at a lower level. So I love partnering with Juice Plus because they are committed to excellence, which is nothing sprayed on your produce, and all of it vine ripened. And then the third thing that sets us apart is our clinical research. And this is done in universities all around the world, not in a Juice Plus lab, but universities are asking to do research on our products, places like MD Anderson and Georgetown and Yale University. I'm going to share just one with you because I love this study, and it was done by a group of cardiologists out of the University of Maryland. It was published in the premier and top journal in the country, the Journal of American Cardiology. And the JACC wrote this up, and I will kind of just try to distill it down for you quickly. So there were 3 groups of people. They were going to measure the vasoconstriction in their arteries after eating a high-fat meal. And most heart attacks and strokes are happening after 4 to 6 hours after a high-fat meal. So they took these people to a local fast food chain, and they fed them all a high-fat breakfast. And afterwards, they measured their constriction. That's going to be the first group of bars there on the left-hand side. You can see they roughly all had around 40% constriction. They sent them home and divided them in 3 groups. One was a placebo group, one was on our fruits and our veggies, the red and green, and one was on the fruits, veggies, and berries. Brought them back 28 days later, changing nothing but taking their Juice Plus, okay? They didn't start a new exercise program. They did not start eating differently. They did nothing different. In 4 weeks, the people on the fruit and veggie had 68% less constriction just in 28 days, which was amazing. The people on all 3 of our blends, however, had 98% less constriction people. They had basically no constriction, which what that says is that when we put more of the good into our body, amazing things happen. Our body is able to overcome and to perform better. So it's not that you have to be perfect. It's not that you have to have this amazing diet. I mean, sure, we can strive towards that, but we're not going to have that every day. But when you are fueling your body, even if it's with something like Juice Plus, your body is protected from that normal reaction to a not so healthy meal. So that is just a great example of the power of whole food nutrition. And there are 37 other studies out there. None of them have not been published. All of them have been published, and all of them are just really wonderful sharing what Juice Plus does. So we have a really small product line. So I'm going to just go over the other two things real quickly that we also have. We also have shakes, Juice Plus Complete Shakes. This is not really a protein shake. I wouldn't call it that. It is protein. It's a plant protein, but you can do so much more with it. So you can do shakes. I make pudding bowls. I make it into little pudding bowls and just love to dump on all kinds of goodness on top of them. And they're my favorite. I actually have one every single day and look forward to it. You can turn them into pancakes, muffins, little energy balls. You can do cookies actually with this complete powder. So it's low glycemic. It totally stabilizes your blood sugar, perfect for people who suffer with diabetes. It's vegan and non-GMO. It has a plant-based protein. It's another 15 plants that are not in our capsules. And this also is not a supplement. A lot of your protein shakes are going to say supplement. It is plant protein, not whey. Whey tends to be inflammatory. And it has a lot of prebiotic fibers in it and oligosaccharides, which help heal the gut. Let me tell you just real quick about the difference between prebiotic and probiotic. So a lot of people have heard about probiotics. They can be wonderful for a time, but really we take probiotics because our diets are so unhealthy that we're trying to repopulate a gut. But the reality is that there are more probiotics in fruits and vegetables than pretty much anywhere else. So when we're eating a diet high in fruits and vegetables, we don't need probiotics. The prebiotic is actually what helps the healthy guys want to stay. So when you put prebiotic fiber in, the healthy bacteria are going to want to stay, and you're not going to have to be artificially feeding your body probiotics. So that's just a little tip for you. And then finally, our Omega Blend, which I have here. People are bridging a gap there too. So antioxidants are not anything our body can produce. Very few. Most we have to get through our diet. Omegas are the same way, you guys. We don't produce omegas. We have to get them from somewhere. Most people think about fish oil, right? However, the studies that are coming out of fish oil are not positive. There recently a study that linked fish oil with prostate cancer in men. And unfortunately, our fish are very toxic because our oceans are toxic. So Juice Plus knew that people needed this, but they wanted to do something different. They took over 7 years to develop this product. It is a cold pressed omega, a wide spectrum omega, so not just omega-3, but omega-3 and 6 and 5 and 7 and 9, because they all occur in nature and they're all important and they're all from plants. So the fish actually get their omegas from plants. They get it from algae. So Juice Plus just cut out the fish and went straight to the algae, which they can control. They can grow in a controlled environment with no toxins. And it is perfect for your brain and your heart and your eyes, which is just, so protective of those organs, which obviously we all need, right? And they don't taste like fish. So that's the other positive thing about them, because I know when I would take fish oil before, I did not enjoy the after effects of that. So love our omegas. And then last but not least, Juice Plus is affordable. When I consider that one apple in my Fresh Thyme grocery store will cost me $2, if I buy an organic, good size organic apple, will cost me $2. And I look that I can get the wide variety, 30 fruits, vegetables, and berries for a couple of dollars a day. I can actually choose to do something proactive for my health, develop a habit that serves me instead of maybe a habit that's on the right side of the screen that many of us have that doesn't really serve us at all. Might bring us a little joy, but is not serving our health in the way that we would want it to. So I'm going to end with this quote from Dr. Richard DeVoy, who I got to see this past week at a conference I went to. He was one of the first doctors out of thousands of doctors now that share Juice Plus with their patients. He said this: there is nothing available anywhere else in the world with or without a prescription that has been clinically proven to do what Juice Plus does, which is just awesome and true. So at this point, I am going to ask Abby if she would like to unmute herself and just share a little bit about her Juice Plus story.
Oh, thank you, Julie. I'm seriously amazed and in love every time you talk about the science, the research, the product. Like, I learn something seriously every time I pick up on something new. So thank you for sharing. That was just beautifully done. So my name's Abby. I am a midwife and a natural health professional. I hope I don't break up at all. I live in the country and I'm sitting up at the highest point of my house, sitting on a desk. So hopefully I won't break up for any of you guys. But Juice Plus and our journey began when I was growing inside my mom's uterus, inside the womb. When my mom took Juice Plus with me, I was her first successful pregnancy, and I'm the oldest of 5 children, and she only took Juice Plus with the pregnancy she had with me, and to this day she will testify it was the best pregnancy she had. It was the best she felt, and she wished she had taken it with the following 4 pregnancies she had after me. So I'm so grateful. Like, it is not in my control that my mom chose to take it with me, but it got to my cellular level while I was just growing from the innermost parts. And I'm just so grateful for that. But as a midwife, I get to work with families and moms and babies all the time. I've attended close to 300 births right now in my career. And so I've worked with a lot of different families. And so being in the midwifery field and being in the natural health field, I have had so many people approach me and, tell me about this concern or that concern. And I love helping people so much. And I have lots of great resources and I have lots of good things to refer to people in order to help heal their body, because I believe that we were designed by a good designer and things were created in a good way to support and to help heal our bodies. And one of those things is plants. It's fruits and vegetables. Those were designed to help fit, kind of like the puzzle piece of our design, in order to help our bodies heal. And so when I learned more about Juice Plus, it was such an easy and just scientifically based research product that I could just easily tell people about and say, you know what, you have all these issues, but let's start at the foundation of, we need to get your body and your cells back to like homeostasis, back to that balance of basically just healing from the fruits and vegetables, and then we can address other issues. And so I've worked with non-pregnant people and just like elderly people, and the first thing I put them on is Juice Plus. And so, working with my moms and my families and the moms expecting these little babies, I kind of understand it and always explain it like a snowball effect. So probably 50 to 100 years ago, we know that our moms and our great grandmothers were not facing and dealing with the high risk pregnancy situations we see today. It is so common to see someone walk in with preeclampsia, with gestational diabetes, with cholestasis of the liver, with all of these other pregnancy induced issues. Super common in 2019, but 100 years ago, that probably wasn't as common. And it was because, 1, we didn't have depleted soil, and 2, we had families who were growing gardens and eating fruits and vegetables on a daily basis, making this food at their in their own kitchen, eating at their own table. And so over the years, as we progress into becoming, more processed in every way of life, we see all of these processed foods, and that's what these pregnant mamas are consuming, all the processed foods that has no ready available nutrients to really support our bodies. I immediately want to get my moms, every single one of them, on Juice Plus, because over prenatal any day, because the fruits and vegetables Juice Plus has to offer are way more backed with science, and we know that the baby is getting the nutrients at the cellular level. I also work with the omegas in my postpartum moms because I hear a lot of moms talking about postpartum depression, and it is so common. And one, it's because we're so nutrient deficient. Two, I don't think mothers have enough emotional support. And three, their brains are giving to their baby in order for their baby to have a developed brain and a developed body. And so the omegas are absolutely fabulous. I just had a mom recently who has a history of postpartum depression, and I said, you need to be on the omegas. They're plant-based. We don't have to worry about all the fish oil and all of the possible toxins that could come with that. And she's had just such a tremendous change in this postpartum. And one of those things I attribute to the omegas. But we need to reverse this nutritional deficiency that we have been snowballing years and years. I'm already concerned working in the maternity field that I am today, concerned with all of the high-risk situations I'm seeing. And so it scares me to imagine what things may look like in 20 to 30 years. Like, will every mom have to be labeled as high risk because of the lack of nutrition? Every time I would read a book about, pregnancy and maternity care, every single book I read, one line I would read: nutrition is the foundation to a healthy pregnancy outcome. And so I apply that to my mamas, but I also apply that to every single person. We were created, plants were created, and plants were designed to help heal and fit the puzzle pieces that our cells and our bodies need to just thrive. So my passion really is helping people to return back to just a peaceful homeostasis, to where their bodies are getting exactly what they need, and people can live whole, healthy, thriving, beautiful lives. So.
Oh, thank you, Abby. I could listen to you talk. I love it. Those moms that you gift with your presence and your knowledge are just blessed. So thank you for sharing. All right, Emily Rose, I'd love for you to unmute yourself if you could and just share with us what you are excited about with Juice Plus and why it made sense to you.
Hi. Okay, so can you hear me? Okay. So for me, I didn't really hear, I had heard of Juice Plus before, but I had no context for what it was. And then Abby had just shared a little bit about it with me, and it caught my attention because someday I do want to have babies, and I've had a lot of my own health issues, and I've struggled with nutrition my entire life, having autoimmune disease and my body not actually absorbing the nutrition and nutrients that it needs. So I've been on this journey of healing for several years, and at this point I was getting onto more of like, all right, let's be more proactive. Like, I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. I really want to start filling myself with nutrient-rich foods and taking care of my body, and hopefully filling myself up with nutrients so that if we ever have kids, that I can give those and I'll still be okay. So so hearing about Juice Plus, I think for me, the idea of knowing that my body is getting the nutrients it needs for living, and it's also getting it in a way that my body knows how to process it from a natural perspective. Whole foods, God created my body to absorb whole foods, and knowing that that was going to be the easiest way for me to absorb and utilize those things. Also, the fact that there are so many more nutrients that I would be getting as compared to the prenatal I was taking and other supplements. So I'm one of those people who can be really consistent, and then there are days where I totally forget to take my Juice Plus. And on those days when I forget, I completely notice until I feel a lot. I do not feel equipped for my day. I get really easily overwhelmed. So for me, it's just more of, I feel like I really am depleted. And I can tell when I'm not actually feeding my body what it needs. So there is comfort in knowing I cannot feed myself that many fruits and vegetables in any given day and any given meal. So as healthy choices as I'm making outside of that, I still know that I'm getting it no matter what. So yeah, for me, it was more of just wanting to get into a healthy state and recover from different things. And yeah, I'm excited to definitely be feeling better and have a lot more energy. And then two, I think something cool. So I'm taking the fruits and the veggies, the berries, and the omegas. And I really do think the omegas help with the brain. My husband Landon is also just taking the omegas, and his memory is improving, and I think he's able to think clearer. So it's just cool to get to see the benefits.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for sharing, Emily Rose. One of the things you said that I just loved is that I loved how you said that you wanted to be proactive too, right? So we can always we can live as far as, oh, I'm going to take this out, I'm going to take this out, I'm going to take this out. And then what's left? I mean, sometimes we feel like we don't even know what we can eat anymore, and that becomes very restrictive. I love what you said. This is a proactive way to actually add goodness into my diet that I know, is only going to do good. So I love that point as well. I will just share real quickly that I have been taking Juice Plus for nearly 3 years. I found it because my son was struggling with asthma and had been hospitalized 4 times and was looking at daily steroids. That was what the doctor wanted. I was very uncomfortable with that for my 4-year-old son. And I had a neighbor who kept telling me about Juice Plus. I did not understand what it was. I clearly had not watched this presentation, because if I had, I would know what it was. And I thought it was just a vitamin. I thought, what in the world is a vitamin going to do with this asthma, this hospitalizing my child? And she said, just take it. Just take it. The company will give it to you for free. Okay, so we did not mention that. There is a program that if you take Juice Plus as an adult, you can sponsor a child, any child, doesn't have to be related to you, sponsor and give the gift of nutrition to a child. And some woman I didn't know started shipping Juice Plus to my son. And it's been 2.5 years. And we have not had another major asthma anything. And you know what I found out? There is a study, it's not done on asthmatic children, it's done on smokers. Juice Plus did a study that shows pulmonary function in smokers. But what it showed is that the functional expiratory volume, the FEV of Juice Plus after 8 weeks, just on the fruits and veggies, is 25%. So basically that means after they take Juice Plus, they have increased their ability to blow out by 25%. QVAR, which is the steroid that was recommended to us to take every day, that increases it by 20%. So Juice Plus is actually more effective than the steroid that they wanted to give my son, with none of the side effects, which is just awesome. So we fell in love with the product, and just felt like I needed to share it with other people, and so excited to be able to do that and to educate people. I just feel so strongly that we don't really have health care. I mean, if you think about it, we take care of our car insurance, we have car insurance. I should say we don't really have health insurance. We have car insurance and we have house insurance, and we think we have health insurance, but it's really not, right? That's for when we get sick. Health insurance is actually doing something every single day to be proactive, so you don't ever have to use your sick insurance, right? And that's really what Juice Plus has been for our family. So thank you so much for taking time to join. If you have any questions at all, we hope we've inspired you to eat more fruits and veggies. If you're curious at all, get with Emily and ask her about how you can get Juice Plus started in your own life with your own family. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to